Hello and welcome to the Rift Battle Tournament Season 2. In this game, we are in the semifinals. It is going to be BGF versus Secret Empire in this best of 3. Now, both teams have proven themselves, making it all the way to the semifinals right now. And both teams are relatively strong, and we're going to be seeing what their picks are going to be. Currently, they have done their bans already. They have banned Lee Sin, a jungler that we have been seeing that is pretty dominant in high elo, especially throughout competitive play with his nice invades. Even though he got nerfed multiple times in so many patches, he is still one of the strongest and, in my opinion, one of the most meta junglers in the game. The next ban that we have is on Gragas, a champion that is really great at team fighting and also has that AoE damage and has that CC that the rest of his team can follow up on. So definitely going to be banned. And it's important to say that the meta has changed. We do not see the insta Ori ban that we used to see in other tournaments because she did get a nerf in the last patch. After that, we have a ban on Yasuo. Definitely more viable in competitive than in solo queue, especially if he can wombo off of different knockups of his team. And lastly, we do have a ban on Corki, and now Corki is probably one of the best roaming mids in the game, and he's really strong as an ADC. Both as a mid and an ADC, he is extremely meta. So we are going to be getting into this game soon, and I hope you guys are all excited about it. I am. And yeah, we are going to be getting into it very soon as the bans have already been conducted. All right, so we are getting into the first game. So we do have draft pick right here, and we're going to be seeing what both teams are going to be going for. We do have first pick right now. It's going to be that Katarina. Katarina proving herself to be very viable at the highest level of play. We've seen her being picked before in other competitive scenes, and we know just how hard one Katarina can snowball. And even if she is behind, she does still have that chance to pick up chain kills and pentakill the entire enemy team. On the other side, we are seeing Ziggs and Kai'Sa being hovered right now, and they are both going to be picked. Ziggs is one of the most meta mid laners, I would say, in competitive play. Definitely better in competitive than in solo queue, although now he's picking up more popularity in solo queue. I know some people have made tier lists where they put him in the highest OP tier, and definitely with his poke he can be very strong. And we see Kai'Sa, another tried and true ADC, being picked. She has been picked in other tournaments, and she's one of those attack speed ADCs that scale really well into the late game. On the other side, we have almost exact type of ADC that we see. We see Draven, an early game ADC. He really needs to start picking up those kills to snowball the game, and definitely can be possible if combined with Katarina, as well as Alistar to set up those kills for Draven. And it also stops the enemy team from picking Alistar. Alistar is a pretty... he is a counter to Draven. I would say he's a more tanky champ, and he can CC Draven and peel for his team. So definitely Alistar coming out as a pick. Definitely some strategy right there by both teams coming out. And we see the Wukong and Garen pick. Garen not very played in competitive, but definitely viable. We've seen him played before. A tanky frontliner that can tank the brunt of the damage, as well as Wukong. Has a bunch of utility as well as knockup. He's going to be the jungler for ELO, and we have Janna as the last pick support. And on the other side, we have Malphite, and I'm not sure if he got a nerf, but I still think that he is one of the most meta ADCs in the entire game. So it's definitely going to be a fun match to watch. We are going to be putting most of our focus in the bot lane this game. We need to see whether or not Draven can snowball early game, and whether or not he can make those plays that will put his team up against each other. So we're going to be seeing how both teams want to approach this match. The pressure is definitely going to be put on for for the team with Katarina and Draven, as they need to snowball really hard. And we'll be seeing Malphite in the team fights and seeing if he can get those knockups. That's going to be the ult to watch out for, as well as Alistar with his knockups as well. But definitely Malphite has a bit more of an impact with his ult. And also on the other team, during team fights, you're going to have to watch Wukong, as he can go in and engage with the knockups right there. The season did reset, so all of the players are a little bit lower ranked than they usually are. But here we go, spawning into the first game. We'll see what the level 1 strats will be for both teams. So far, it looks like they are going just for a more normal type of play right now. Nothing really strange coming out for either team. And so I'm going to be seeing how both teams want to approach this. Alright, so yeah, so far no lane swaps, nothing tricky like that. But we are seeing Ziggs there in that lane. He usually goes down mid, but we do see him being played in the top lane right now, which is very interesting. And we see Wukong, Kai'Sa, and Janna just rotating around. Maybe they're going to go for an invade on the blue, and it looks like that's what they're going to do, as they saw that the enemy team did start on their red. Katarina is there, and they have warded the blue, so we're going to be seeing a quick early skirmish right here. We'll see what Katarina can do. She just throws a dagger so far and doesn't come off, doesn't get anything off of that. Malphite just gets poked right now, both by Ziggs and the entire enemy team, getting extremely low and popping barrier right there. Wukong does dash onto him, but Malphite does pick up those honey fruits just in time to heal up with that buff from his rune. We see Wukong and going in on Vi, and we'll be seeing how that skirmish turns out in the jungle. It looks like both players are just going to be backing off for now, and Vi just starting on her wolves. So it looks like the invade was successful. Wukong did pick up that blue buff right there, but Vi not going to be too crippled by that invade, as she did manage to take her red and Gromp in the time where Wukong only took his enemy blue buff. And we'll be seeing if there's going to be counter invade by Vi, because she can definitely go for it if she wants to. She knows that Wukong didn't take his red yet because he did not have that buff, and he invaded way too early to be taking that buff. We see some small skirmish at the Rift Scuttler. Currently, the blue side does have lane priority, so they are going to be getting that. Vi smites down the Rift Scuttler, and she does survive with 1 HP. We see Kai'Sa jumping in here as well. Ziggs going down. Katarina taking first blood right now. All her cooldowns are reset. We're going to be seeing whether or not she can pick up those chain kills. She gets a double kill on Janna right now. Will it be the triple? She ults in after hitting level 5, and she picks up the triple kill. Will it be the quadra right now? And she does pick up the quadra kill on Wukong, just showing her prowess right there on Katarina. We've seen the Katarina go for those types of plays. We see the quadra kill coming out early onto the game. That's not what you want to be seeing. If you are ELO right here, you don't want to be seeing a Katarina snowballing. Amazing play, amazing mechanics by that Katarina right there. Very nicely done, picking up the early quadra, just showing them who's boss in this game. They have the Draven, and if they are able to snowball, you all know how scary these champs can be if they do get fed. So Katarina picking up a quick quadra kill right there, and Vi doesn't even go down, so it's just a 4-for-1 trade right now. And if we do look at the items right now, we can see that Katarina has not recalled just yet. I mean, she has recalled, so she has bought those items, and she's extremely strong in lane. It's definitely going to be hard for Kai'Sa or whoever their mid laner is. I think they did some really crazy lane swaps in this game. Doesn't look like it's working out for them just yet. So yeah, definitely really nice play by that Katarina, and Vi able to also take the Scuttler with her smite, and she healed up just enough to tank the shots, and she was 1 HP when she recalled. Unfortunate start, but definitely ELO can be climbing back into this match if they have good team fights, if they have those good ults, especially they don't need to get too ahead. The pressure is on C to have that early game, whereas Kai'Sa does scale a bit better into the late game, and Draven needs to get ahead. The first dragon spawning in here in 3 seconds is the Infernal Drake. Both teams are going to be putting emphasis on that dragon, but we know that Elord are down here, so we'll be seeing whether they just give up the dragon or they want to put up a fight. It looks like they have the position. They're not going for any cross-map plays. Alistair able to get the knock-up on Janna. We'll see if the follow-up is there. Wukong does get the chain knock-up right now, but he's going to be taking down Katarina. Amazing backline play right there. Garen flashes onto Draven. He is able to silence him and gets the kill right there. Garen very low. We'll see if he goes down right now, but that doesn't matter because Katarina just picks up the double kill right here. She is dominating right now. She flashes in. Let's see if she gets a kill on Janna. Janna survives with just a tiny bit of HP left. Ziggs chasing down Katarina. We'll be seeing if she does go down to the ult right there. A big shutdown for Elord right there. However, Ziggs picking up the double kill. Will be the triple. It's the triple right now. Will he also be able to steal the dragon right now? Wukong jumping in. We'll be seeing that he does steal that dragon, and an ace comes out for Elord, turning that game around with one dragon fight right there. Ziggs taking down so many low champs. We know how much damage he can do even with just auto attacks. You know that he is supposed to be mainly just a poke champion, but definitely can dish out the damage when he needs to, showing that he's not just a poke champion, showing that he can secure those kills. It looked like Garen did get the kill on Draven right there. Definitely critical. And then Wukong had enough time to spawn back and take the Infernal Dragon. So Katarina killed him on so early on into the fight that he respawned and came back to the dragon. So Elord definitely taking the upper hand. After Katarina got that quadra kill, it looks like they just couldn't have the right team fight that they wanted at the dragon. The knockups did come out, but we see a gank from Wukong right here. Will Malphite goes down. He does pop the honey fruit and does get the heal. Malphite just too tanky, just says, get out of my lawn. Taking those honey fruit and avoiding yet another gank from the enemy team. They are grouped up at the Rift Herald that just spawned right now. We're going to be seeing how C wants to be taking this Rift Herald. Both teams do have most of their teammates around. No one really wanting to engage Ziggs, just poking the enemy team. They do have that Infernal Drake buff that does give them extra damage during this team fight. We'll see how both teams want to approach this. So far, the knockup comes out from Malphite. However, he only ults one or two people. Wukong spinning in right there. Malphite is surviving at 1 HP. Wukong does pick up the kill on Vi and does get out right there. Kaisa able to get a kill. So does Garen on Draven right there. They should be able to take the minute inhib while Wukong is taking the Rift Herald. Amazing team fighting right there. Just showing, even though they're down early game, how well they can team fight. Just showing how OP they can be in those kinds of situations. And with that, they do secure the Rift Herald right now. Katarina just on the outskirts, can't get anything really done right now. The Rift Herald will go down. Wukong taking that buff. They're going to be putting on pressure in one of the side lanes, or maybe even mid. Maybe when the next dragon comes out, or whenever they want that multi-prong pressure that you can put on with that Rift Herald. Garen taking a couple of turret shots, but it's all going to be a-okay as he does take down that inhib. It's down to 1/3 of its HP. Definitely pretty low. Elord playing this very, very nicely with that split pushing, pressure, multi-prong pressure all around the map. And also, we've seen their team fights. They're just amazing, and the way that their ADC is positioning and dealing damage is really, really amazing. And in fact, Kaisa has a lead on Draven, and this is not what you want to be seeing as C. They did have an early lead, but they weren't able to capitalize on it on that first dragon fight. And if you are playing Draven, you really need to make the most of his early game, because that's where he really shines. But when even Kaisa, an late game attack speed carry, is outscaling you, it can be very, very detrimental. It can be very, very scary. So we're going to be seeing how both teams want to approach the next upcoming fights. No objectives are coming down recently, but the mid inhib did go down. Elord taking that out with the Rift Herald. Definitely going to be an important turret to take down, as warding and vision are going to be set around the area. If we do go take a quick look at the items right now, only person that is really on the level of Kaisa and Ziggs is Katarina. So we saw her pop off in the early game. We're going to see her have to do it again if she wants to win this game. We saw Kaisa pop off with that quadra kill. And maybe she can do it again, as the dragon is spawning in 3 seconds. We know her AoE damage is insane. Her burst damage is insane. And the outplay potential that you have on this champ is absolutely crazy. So both teams are gearing up for the dragon. Wukong already starting the leash right now. It looks like Elord are just going to try to start this right away. We're going to be seeing how both teams want to approach this right now. We see that Janna is setting up those tornadoes for a bit of peel. We're going to see Alistar getting an engage and knockup, but no follow-up just yet right there for the Draven. Draven's positioning has been a little bit sketchy. You want to be positioning a little bit more aggressively with Draven, as you can dish out that insane amount of damage that we all know with his axes. But the dragon looks like it did reset. And in the meantime, the Rift Herald has been summoned in bot. I made a mistake. They didn't summon it in mid, so they are using it to put that side lane pressure that I really love to see with the Rift Herald. But Malphite goes in with a knockup right here. They are engaging. Kaisa does get the first kill. We'll see if she's going to ult in. Vi is able to secure that dragon, making the dragon 1-for-1, but will it be worth it? Ziggs getting the rampage right now after he gets the double kill on Katarina and Malphite. Alistar's the only one alive, but all he can do is try to run away. But Kaisa says, no, you're not getting away. You're going down by me. You guys took the dragon, but I'm going to make you pay right there, taking out the entire enemy team with that ace, and instead, they're going to be trading it for a Baron. So Vi did get the dragon steal, but was it really worth it? No. They did lose a Baron, and in the meantime, the bottom turrets have been falling. The Rift Herald has been split pushing this entire time, and that's what you really want to see with the Rift Herald. That's how you can maximize it, and that's how you really can make the most of your Rift Heralds. You really need to try to put it into those side lanes. You really need to try to make the most out of it by putting in pressure while you can. So we do see Vi just jungling here, and both teams are one dragon apiece, but 4 turrets have already gone down for C. They were looking really strong in the early game. We saw Katarina pop off. But again, Elord just being able to capitalize on this team fight, especially the knockups from Wukong and the ults from Ziggs, have been able to dish out a ton of damage, as well as Janna being a really OP support right now. I would say she's at least S tier. She has so much utility, and when you see her being played at the top level of play, even though she may be overlooked in certain situations, her peel is absolutely insane, and the CCs that she does provide with her tornadoes are also critical for team fights, and it's just another skill that you need to dodge in the chaos that a team fight brings. But all the turrets are going down, and it looks like C are going to be pressuring those inhibs right now, as all the inner turrets are going down. Garen pressuring the bot lane turret right now. Multi-prong pressure coming out with the Baron. Some inhibs might fall right here, right now. We see the Baron buff is helping them take down all of those turrets. Garen is pressuring bot. Ziggs and Janna are in mid. This is what you see at the top level of play, this multi-prong pressure, making sure they're getting the most out of the Baron. The inhib does go down. It looks like they're just crumbling under the pressure. See, under so much pressure here, 2 inhibs have already gone down, and Baron buff isn't out yet. They're still trying to capitalize on this. Maybe they can even get this last inhib right here if they do play this right. Kaisa gets the first kill, and so much disgusting burst comes out from her right onto Katarina. Ziggs able to just take those turrets down so quickly, and it looks like they are pressuring the Nexus right now. The Baron buff does run out, so it looks like they are just going to be backing off. They did collect so much gold after taking those turrets. They're just going to reset and come back even stronger, as they already have a 17,000 gold lead. It's definitely going to be an uphill battle for C right here. If we look at the items right now, we can see that Kaisa is on so many items. She hasn't even recalled yet. We're seeing the first recalls coming out from Garen and Wukong. You don't want to be making the mistake of staying out too long when you have that gold stockpiled up. And we see the items being built by these players. So far, just Elord dominating in this game. They have better scaling, and it looks like the Draven just didn't work out. Alistar didn't get those key knockups that you really need to see with Alistar to make the most out of his kit. Same thing for Draven. He did not output the early burst. The SVP, definitely going to be Katarina if they lose this game. But we have seen some crazy backdoors. We have seen some crazy comebacks in past tournaments and past games. So we're going to see if that comes out now. As the dragon is spawning in 3 seconds, we're going to be seeing how both teams want to be approaching this team fight. It is Cloud Drake definitely going to be important, as it does provide you with that move speed boost, allowing your team to rotate around the map much faster and much better. Janna does get that knockup with her tornado, and Wukong just going to be able to smite it. Says not today to Vi. It looks like Kaisa is bursting down Vi, and Vi a little bit overextended after that attempted Baron steal. She did not have flash because she did use it to get into the Baron pit. Ziggs just going for a little bit of poke with his ultimate. We'll be seeing if Wukong does get a knockup, barely out of range right there. Malphite does pop his summoners to get away, but it looks like Kaisa does have a bit of damage. Wukong doesn't have his knockup just yet. Katarina ults, but it's not going to be enough as most of the teams are tanky, and with that, they take the first game. Elord proving how dominant they are. Even with the worst early game team comp, they still are able to pull it off in the team fights with the Wukong knockup, and they do pick up the dub in game 1, making it 1-0. Ziggs picking up MVP with so much burst throughout the game. He did pick up that triple kill early on into the game, and it's so sad. You hate to see it, but Katarina did take the SVP, getting all 6 of the kills that her team got. It's so sad to see someone pop off like that and get a quadra kill, but I feel like she could have maybe maximized her early game pressure, especially on Kaisa, maybe going for a bit more burst trades, because you want to be capitalizing on your early leads. If you just let the game slip away like that, it can just slip out of your fingers, especially if the enemy team gets the first dragon fight. Their positioning was a little bit scuffed during that first team fight, and for that reason, Elord do capitalize on their confusion and take game 1. If we do look at the damage dealt right now, we can be seeing that most of the damage did come from Ziggs, as he dealt 25,000 damage, showing just how much damage he can dish out with his poke, and also just his raw damage. Also, damage against turrets is absolutely insane with Ziggs. And on the other side, we can see Katarina did try her hardest, but nothing that comes close to Ziggs on either side. Kaisa also dishing out so much damage. If we did see the game go later, we would have definitely seen her have a bit more damage in the game, as she is a scaling attack speed carry. Also, Janna definitely being a key part of Elord's team comp. So we are going to be going into the next games soon, and we will be back soon. If you want to ask any questions in the chat, don't hesitate to ask me. Also, you can join the Wild Rift Global Discord server in the description down below. A special shout out to Shotcall, who did sponsor this tournament. You can visit their Twitter in the description down below, and Shotcall GG does provide really nice tournaments if you want to check them out. Also, if you love my casting, then please leave a like on the video and subscribe, as it does help out the channel a ton. We are approaching 1,000 very quickly. I can't thank you enough for all the support I've been getting recently. But with that, Elord does take a 1-0 lead above C, and we will be back soon with game 2. Stay tuned, guys. It's going to be a great series. All right, so the bans have come out. We have Katarina ban, Ziggs ban, Lee Sin ban, and a Gragas ban. So we are getting into the draft pick right now. And real quick, let me go and get the screen. Yeah, so the first bans that we have seen so far are going to be bans on Ziggs and Kata that did carry in the last game, and then we have bans on Lee and Gragas that we saw last game. And the reason why we have those two champions banned are they're just really broken in the current meta, especially in competitive. However, there isn't really a absolutely dominant champion like Orianna that we did see in the last meta. But we might be seeing an Orianna first pick. Even though she did get nerfed, she is a pretty viable champion to be picked. But we do see Kai'Sa first pick, and then Alistar. Kai'Sa, Alistar, definitely a combination that can work. And on the other side, we have Corki. We'll be seeing if that's going to be Corki mid or Corki ADC. They may be having Corki ADC if they do go for Orianna mid. Corki ADC has been picking up a lot of popularity recently, as he does have that armor shred and a bunch of safety with his second skill and roaming potential with his passive. We may be seeing Orianna as their mid. Orianna definitely still playable, but she did get a nerf, so she isn't absolutely dominant like she was in the last patch. Before that, Orianna was an insta ban in competitive, or if not, she would be the first pick. And for our second champion, we do see Wukong being picked up by Elord. We know how hard he can carry, and we know how effective his knockups can be. We may be seeing Janna be coming out here as a support of choice. Again, we saw her last game, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So we're gonna have Janna being picked probably here as a support, and Camille as a top laner. Definitely going to be someone to watch out for, as her split pushing potential is absolutely insane. And on the other side, we have Akali and Shyvana, and maybe even Malphite being picked right here. Malphite definitely the most dominant top laner right now, can outtrade anyone. I don't know if he got nerfed, but before that he was definitely dominant. And we may be seeing a Singed pick here. That's going to be crazy if we do see a Singed game right now, but no, he's just going to ruin the hype and probably pick Malphite right now, as he's a much more stable pick than Singed. And so both team comps have decent scaling, I would say, but Shyvana is definitely going to be the one. Shyvana and Kai'Sa are definitely going to outscale even Corki. Even though Corki has really great scaling, I would say Kai'Sa and Shyvana have better scaling than Wukong and Corki if you combine the both. And Akali can probably carry them early game, and is one of those champions that can pop off and get those chain kills, just like we saw Katarina last game being an assassin that had a lot of impact in the early to mid game. We're going to be seeing the same thing with Akali, and they're thinking maybe, hopefully, that they can carry them again there. If we look at both teams, we do see that Season Reset have put both teams at a little bit lower than what they usually are. So we're going to be seeing level 1 strats very soon. So in the team fights, again, you want to be looking out for the Wukong ult, Orianna ult, and we'll be seeing if the Malphite ults can get the knockups that they need to get to be effective, as well as Alistar being picked again. We didn't see Alistar being played too effectively, but he can definitely pop off if played right. So we're going to be seeing both teams loading in right here. We'll see if any of the invades do come out. Last time they did go for an invade, but it wasn't really worth it, as in the end Vi was still higher leveled and still got the Rift Scuttler at the start of the game. So it's definitely not worth it to invade if you take too long, as the enemy jungler can just jungle and farm up before you can really do anything, and maybe even counter invade you if you are too low leveled. So invading is definitely a more advanced strat, but it looks like Wukong may be going for the same type of invade again. They have the weird lane swaps coming out for them. It did work last time, but it didn't work early game. Remember, Katarina got that quadra kill early game, but they weren't able to capitalize on that. C wasn't able to capitalize on that last game. So we just have a normal jungle pathing for Shyvana, but on the other hand, Wukong did invade the red right there, and they will be taking that red buff right now with that invade. It looks like Corki did take the red, not Wukong. Wukong smited it, but it was at 1 HP. And we do have a team fight coming right here. Electric coming out. Corki taking first blood right there with his poke. And he does pick up the kill on Malphite, but return kills may come out right here as Wukong does pick up a return kill on Akali right there. It looks like Shyvana is trying to engage on Corki, but Corki able to get away with his insane poke, and Janna able to take down Alistar to clean up the fight. A 4-for-1 trade right there. C definitely had a little bit of stuff going for them at the start of that fight, but by the end, just the early game for Elord and the insane amount of poke that they have and damage that they have early game just carried them through that fight, and they do get a 4-for-1 trade, so they're going to be significantly stronger for the dragon fight. And actually, I don't know if you guys know this, but the gold discrepancy at the start of the game is much more important than later into the game. Like a 2k gold early game is definitely going to matter more than a 4k gold later into the game. But right now we do have the engage on Shyvana right now. She does survive with very little HP. Corki has to burn second skill to get in for that. Wukong does jump over the wall and take down Akali. We only see Alistar and Kai'Sa left. Kai'Sa is popping barrier to try to get away. She does try to go for the kill on Orianna, but her shield is just insane, and so is her burst. And with that, Alistar may be cleaned up as well. Elord taking a significant lead in the early game, just showing how they can just take advantage of the chaos on C's side. Their team fighting hasn't been the greatest, and because of that, Elord are able to capitalize. So Elord taking definitely a huge 5k gold lead. Camille is engaging on the Rift Herald right here, and they just do take down Shyvana. A big feels bad moment right there, as she's just trying to farm. She's just trying to scale into the game, but they're just not letting that happen. So right now, Elord having a definite, a very big lead over C right now. They are just taking their recalls, making sure they have as many items as possible. Akali just surviving at 1 HP after getting into a trade with Janna right there. So she isn't going to be going down just yet, just shoving the wave and probably going to recall right now. Orianna showing that she is still definitely viable even after the nerfs. Orianna before the nerfs was just insane, so it's no surprise that she's still an amazing champion after the nerfs. And so both teams have both reverted back to farming it up, and no significant action happening right now except Wukong invading the red buff again, just making Shyvana's life as miserable as possible as the invade comes out. It is successful. Wukong just saying, now that you've gotten behind, you're gonna stay that way, and with that takes her red buff. Just so painful for Shyvana right now. All she wants to do is just farm, but in this region, maybe in EU we would let that happen, but in C, not here. We will invade you, we will make your life as miserable as possible, and we will capitalize on our early leads. But the first dragon is spawning right here, and we don't see Wukong and Janna in the premise, so they do have a numbers advantage on this fight. We're going to be seeing if they can take advantage of that. Malphite is getting engaged on top lane, and he will go down with Wukong flashing, and they do get the kill, but that does give them a chance to take that first dragon, and Shyvana takes the first dragon, with it being the Cloud Dragon. Not the most important dragon for Shyvana, but definitely something to be considered, as the rotation will be a bit faster now with that move speed boost being implemented by that Cloud Dragon. Cloud Dragon definitely going to be more important, especially in competitive play where rotation is so important. But 2 turrets do go down, so I would say it's a pretty even trade. Whenever your team gets an objective on one side, you always want to be cross mapping and playing to the other side, and that's what both teams are doing. They traded a dragon for 2 turrets, and we're both going to be seeing how each team wants to play around the objectives that they have, right? As I said in the early game, C does scale better with that Kai'Sa and Shyvana, right? So if they are able to scale, they may have potential to come for a comeback. And also that dragon scale really well into the game, especially Infernal and Ocean Dragon, but definitely Mountain Dragon as well. As your rotation in the late game is extremely important, and the way that you split push and you put pressure on the map, especially in late game when people have so many items, move speed is definitely going to be an important factor being played in throughout all that. We do see a lot of the team members grouping up right here. We're going to be seeing if they're going to be engaging. Shyvana is heading down right there, and so is Camille. We're going to be seeing how this fight goes. So far, it's just Janna, Wukong, and Corki down here in the bot lane. They are putting pressure on that turret. It's going to be a 4v3 if all the other team members are going to be coming and converging. It looks like they're just going to be getting up that turret for now, as no hard engage is there except for their Alistar and Malphite, who were slacking in the back right there. You want your front lines in the front. That way you can deal that CC and tank the damage, not the other way around where your front line is in the back, where they're not dealing anything at all. We see Wukong going in right here with a dash shield from Janna. We see the knockup from Alistar, but no real follow-up coming out right now. Kai'Sa does have the poke right there, but it looks like they aren't going to engage off of that. The Rift Herald has spawned, and Elord are looking to take that right now. Both teams are looking to take this objective. It looks like it's going to be contested. Malphite ult does come out, and Corki may be going down. No, he's just going to be using the second skill, and the heal from Janna is just insane, making sure that there's so much to save, but Akali still gets the kill right there. Janna getting the kill on Corki right there. And also, Kai'Sa is going to go down. Camille picking up killing spree right there after ulting her. Orianna still there, alive with low HP. She is going to be coming back into the team fight, providing a shield for Wukong. It looks like Malphite will go down as well. Alistar, the only one left alive, and he's just going to be the only survivor after that team fight. Both teams playing really well, but Elord just proving how dominant they are in team fights, and just showing how it's done and how you should be prioritizing the enemy ADC. If you do get the kill on that, everything else will just fall apart. And if we do see the kills right now, we see Camille going for a 3-0-5, definitely helped a bunch in that team fight. But the other one that is really important during that team fight was Janna, as she did provide that heal and saved Corki's life. After Corki went down, he did go down, and he is the ADC, but they just had too many members of their team die for Corki. When Akali engaged and Shyvana tried to get a kill, eventually they did brute force their way to Corki, but it just wasn't worth it in the end. And because of that, Camille is getting pretty fed, and it looks like she is going to 1v2 in the top lane. One of the most disgusting champions in skirmishes. She knows that Akali is coming, so she is just trying to take those honey fruits and survive as long as possible. The heal is coming out right now. It looks like she will survive for a little bit longer. She pops barrier right there. Alistar with a knock up with the shield from Janna is just so clutch right now. Camille surviving at 1 HP. It looks like she's going to survive. So much shield right there. Alistar gonna pop the gargoyle in chat, but just not enough to stay alive. It looks like Kai'Sa is caught out of position, trying to get the kill. Just Janna definitely being the MVP right now. So much shield, so much heal right there. Even though Camille should 100% been dead right there if Janna wasn't there. Camille is able to do that. It looks like Shyvana will be sneaking dragon. There is no vision on that right now, but the inhib does come down. We'll be seeing if Wukong is aware of this. It is a mountain dragon, so it will provide their entire team with a shield, as well as Shyvana with extra resistance. This could be their key to coming back into the game if they are able to play around their dragons. The Rift Herald has been summoned in the bottom lane. Some side lane pressure coming out right now, but it's not going to amount much as the inhib on the top has gone down. So that lane is going to be perma-shoving with the super minions pouring in for Elord. Alright, so the Rift Herald does get one charge off, but it's not going to amount much as most of C are just backing off right now. But that was a really great sneak by Shyvana, and it makes the Elder Dragon so much more important for both teams, right? That is the win condition right now for C. If they are able to get the Elder Dragon, that will definitely turn the tides around. And even though they are at a huge goal deficit, an Elder Dragon, like an Elder Infernal or Elder Ocean even, can provide you with the damage or vamp that you need to bring this game back and make an item deficit seem like it's not even there, as the dragon buffs are extremely important. But for now, they just have the Mountain Dragon and the Cloud Dragon providing with a shield and a bit more move speed. It looks like Akali is using her third skill to try to get away right now from Wukong, who just uses his clone to jump out of there. Definitely going to be safe and sound. Camille is pushing the bot lane with the super minions. It looks like she is trying to get away. Akali does have the combos right now. She dodges the second skill. She flashes in. It looks like Camille's going to ult, is trying to pull the Uno reverse card, but Alistar there to knock up and CC Camille, saying, nope, you're not going to do it again to us. You're not surviving this time, and shuts her down right then, right there. So now we have Elord. Even though they have less champions, they still have tons of pressure with their champions, especially Orianna with her poke. It's still pretty insane. We'll see if Kai'Sa wants to engage. She does have the poke right here. We'll see if she wants to ult in. It looks like not right now. And Orianna does take down the mid turret. She's still showing that even though she did get nerfed, she is still OP, but she did overextend a little bit for that turn. She pops barrier. We'll see if it's enough. She flashes away, and it looks like she might even survive right here. Wukong Wukong picking up the CC on Akali, and Orianna picks up the kill. Wukong may go down right here as he is going 4v1 right now. It looks like he did overextend a bit. We'll see the team fighting come out right now. Camille ulting in, and he does get the pick on Malphite. We're going to be seeing Corki using his second skill and trying to engage. Gets the kill with his ultimate. Shyvana and Kai'Sa are the only ones left. We're going to be seeing if they can survive this attack. Camille going in. Kai'Sa, maybe cornering herself a little bit right now. She's at 1 HP and she does get taken down by Camille right there. Shyvana, the only one alive, but Akali does spawn right there to give her some backup right now. Janna with the heal, making sure her teams are all healthy and sustained. Corki is dealing some poke on Shyvana, but Shyvana just going to be going back to base. Malphite alive right now. He does not have ultimate, so he just doesn't have that engaged, so he's just going to be farming the side waves up right now. Even though C had an opportunity right there, they overextended just a little bit, and Elord were able to collapse onto them. So that's the rotation that you want to see with both teams, just capitalizing on their lead. The Baron has been started. It looks like they're not going to be finishing it right now. It's a little bit too risky, even though they do have a numbers advantage. It's just scary with Shyvana with that much sustain. And we are heading into the mid game, I would say, or even like the mid to late game right now, as both teams are picking up more and more items. And eventually the gold lead won't matter too much as the game goes later, especially with Shyvana and Kai'Sa scaling. Shyvana being so tanky in the late game, being able to even 1v5 if she is played properly. And Kai'Sa, we all know how bad a fed Kai'Sa can be. She's probably the best scaling in the game, maybe second to only the late game champion Jinx. We know how bad a Kai'Sa can be if she is on the enemy team and how scary that can be. But the Infernal Drake is up. Both teams want to contend for this objective. It looks like Wukong is being engaged on right here, and he is stunned. Will he be able to get out right there? He does pop his ult. Akali engaging onto Wukong and Orianna right there. He is ulting Orianna. She may be going down right there. Alistar is able to get the knock up. Janna with a huge heal on her entire team. Orianna getting the ult on Malphite only right there, but it looks like they are going to be taking out most of the enemy team down as Orianna picks up a double kill, killing Malphite right there. Alistar being chased down, and so is Shyvana. She did pop an ult, but it's not going to be enough sustain to sustain that team fight, and she's just going to be heading back home, getting back into the base. Alistar just going for a knockup just to make sure he's safe. And the most important thing and the most crazy thing is that C actually took the dragon in the midst of all of that, but it might not be enough as super minions are pouring into the Nexus. But Alistar and Shyvana are definitely going to be tanky enough to tank that out right now. Super minions are pouring in left, right, and center. Inhibs are going down. Let's see if they can put up the pressure. They wanted to scale, but maybe Elord just going to close this out right now as Nexus dropping down to below 10,000, below 1,000 HP, and it does go down right there. Elord taking game 2 as well, advancing into the finals. They will be your first finalists in the game. We saw Elord having a huge lead early game, and they just capitalized on it right there. C wanted to scale in the game. They had 3 dragons, so close to the Elder Dragon, and taking that and starting their road to a comeback. But Elord just shuts them down, slams the door in their face, and says, "You're going home. We're advancing into the grand finals." And with that, they do pick up the victory. MVP going to Janna. It's assessed by the AI, but I definitely 100% agree. She did play really, really well in both of those games, providing so much heal, especially in this game. And if we do look at the damage dealt, we see that Corki did deal the most damage, followed by Orianna. Corki definitely going to deal the most damage because he is the ADC, but definitely great positioning and poke by him with his ultis. And Orianna showing that she is still viable even after the nerf. She did receive some pretty hefty nerfs, but in the end, still proving how OP she is. And on the other side, we do have Akali putting out 15,000 damage, but it just wasn't enough. They did have a deficit early, and they were trying to crawl themselves back into the game, but just not being able to do it right here, right now. And with that, that wraps up this game. This event was sponsored by shotcall.gg. If you want to go check them out, the site is in the link, is in the description down below. Also, join League of Legends Wild Rift global server. The Discord link is in the description down below, and subscribe if you enjoy the casting. And if you want to see more exciting esports and learn from the pros, then you can join us for our second semifinals match, which is happening pretty soon after this one. So if you want to check that out, be sure to stay tuned. And with that, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you then. Bye.